All right, good evening, everyone. This is actually take two of this video, which will probably be titled something along the lines of 3 keys to running a small business. And the first cut of this video, my lady was doing some laundry, and I allowed it to distract me, which probably in the future I'll just keep rolling. And even if I get a little distracted, I'll just roll right into the topic that I was going to talk about and keep going. So lots of learning lessons just this last week as I'm beginning to do this project. So anyhow, this is take two of how to run 3 keys to running a small business. And before diving completely into that, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my newest subscriber number 2, a Mr. John Doe. So John, thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. Our community has now grown from 2, me and my first subscriber, who I'm also related to, and to 3. So I appreciate you checking out the channel and deciding it's worth subscribing to see what other content is put out there. So again, I appreciate it. And if there's any topics you're interested in discussing or any ideas you're interested in hearing about, please leave a comment or shoot me a message, or however it works. Just I'll see it, put something out there and I'd love to hear what you're interested in and maybe discuss that in a future video. So all that being said, I wanted to continue to jump around randomly to different topics that I'm interested in. We've covered a whole host of random things over the last week and figured this would be a good day to talk about another fundamental portion of my life, which is running and operating with my brother a small business here in the city of Seattle. And while we're only a few years into it, he has been at it much longer than I have, but we went into business together in late 2017. So we've been at it for over 3.5 years now, and we've experienced some setbacks, but we've also experienced some successes. And so I figured, while I'm no master on the subject, I wouldn't consider myself the end-all be-all authority of small business or of business in general, but given that we have survived a few years and have learned some lessons, I figured I would throw out a few things that I think are key to running and operating a small business or a business in general. And these are pretty basic and pretty broad and generic. I feel like it's just a good place to start. I'm sure in the future there'll be times to really dig into the weeds or peel back the onion and get into each one of these more specifically. But the 3 keys that came to mind right off the bat of the note that I jotted down right before clicking play the first time is team, clients, and finances. So I put team first because I think that's primary to being able to deliver the good or service that you're setting out to bring to the market. If you are a single person service provider, then I guess you can get away with not having a team, but even then you need a CPA to help you with your taxes. You may need vendors and suppliers to give you the raw material for whatever it is you provide. So regardless of what you do, if you're just a sole proprietor, you still may have some semblance of a team. But especially if you're running an operation with more than just yourself, whether it's business partners, employees, bookkeepers, administrative people, and so on down the line, your business ultimately is going to be made up of members of your team. And finding ways to attract good people and treating them in a way that makes them want to stick around, whether it's just the basics of making it a friendly and enjoyable place to work, from a work environment standpoint, or a challenging place to work in the realm of, professionally to them. There's opportunities to take on new difficult projects that are engaging to them, where they feel like they're growing within their career and their skill sets. So different ways to retain those good people, because at the end of the day, you're only going to be as good as the overall capacity of your team. And so the more you're able to build that, the more you're able to recruit and retain good people, the more capacity you're going to have, and the larger reach you're going to have in delivering the product or service that you're bringing to the market. So can't say enough of how important it is to have a good team and to focus on treating that team really well in order to continue to build on top of that and bring in new people and attract new people to what you're doing. So that being said, the next note that I put down was clients, right? So ultimately, no service in the free market would exist without a demographic of clientele, right? Without people who are willing to pay for that good or service, the business would go out of business, right? So just really identifying who is your ideal client, where do they exist, how do I reach them, and once I know who those people are, if I'm already servicing them or bringing them that product, how can I do it better? How can I meet their needs even more? So in our business, we're in a service business. Oftentimes, or for a good amount of the years we've been in business, the last few years, we have had a strong base of clientele, or at least, a core group that has then grown by a little bit and grown by a little bit and grown by a little bit. And that may not be the nature of the way you would go about acquiring customers in every industry, but I know that at least with our specific operation, having a loyal clientele, even if it's small, for us is really crucial, because then when they're in a time of need, when they need our service, boom, they pick up the phone and they call us. So really being locked in to those people and checking in, and when they need something, dropping what we're doing to go help them out and to make them look good. So in the business we provide, we oftentimes, it's kind of a business to business relationship. We provide maintenance and construction services mostly to condominium complexes, and those condominium complexes are oftentimes serviced by what's in our industry called a community association manager, right? So this person is another third party that helps manage their finances, enforce the rules and conduct within these communities as well. And then the third tier is taking care of their maintenance needs, their landscaping and painting and et cetera, et cetera. So so we service a lot of these community managers that have a big portfolio of communities that they serve. And so again, it's this business to business relationship. And so whenever they need something, we got to be there, drop what we're doing, help them out, and make them look good. Because if we're making them look good to their clientele, well, now they're going to want to keep us around. They're going to want to keep using our service, because every time they use us, we make them look good, right? So that's just a little note, the second note on clients. And then the third one is finances. And this probably could have been bullet point number one, because I think a big success or a big milestone or learning curve for us was getting our finances in order, right? The process of just kind of getting started up, and there's a lot happening, jobs are coming in, bills are getting paid, and there's a lot flying around, and just making a conscious effort to have clean books so you know where your money is coming and going, and being conservative with your cash, and saving up and building up a bit of a, like, the rainy day fund or the emergency fund, as Dave Ramsey would put it, even just for your business, is critical. Because when you have little bumps in the road, whether it's like the shutdowns we experienced last year, or if a contract falls through, or a client pulls out of a job, or there's just so many reasons that you could experience a short-term snag, that cash will become critical. That if you're not in a position where you haven't saved up any cushion, then it could wipe you out, right? And so we've made a conscious effort to do that at different periods of time over the last few years, and we've always been happy that we did, because then if a rainy day does come along, we're not sweating it. We're able to just keep trucking along, keep doing what we do, and keep everyone on our team employed and productive and coming to work, and not have to sweat anyone about, oh, we have a slowdown in work, we got to lay everyone off, right? Which is a very disruptive way to run a business, to just be able to continue trucking along, steady Freddy, and then allow the work to come back, or allow a new project to pop up, or whatever the reason would be that there's some snag in the road. The cushion that we built up carries us through, and then once it all comes back, then we build up that nest egg again. So those are some points to consider if you're just going into business, or some points to consider if you're already in business and succeeding. Let me know what your thoughts are, any best practices you have in the realm of, how to build and retain a great team, how to service your clients in an all-star manner, in a 5-star way, and lastly, how to keep your finances organized and conservative, so that when a rainy day comes along, you're not sweating it while everyone else is running around with their hair on fire, because they haven't saved for, they're levered up and they have nothing in savings. And so then when they need to tighten their belts, they really need to tighten their belt, as opposed to being able to just make some minor changes and keep trucking along. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Would love to hear from any fellow business people out there. And yeah, on that note, happy Sunday. We're heading into, speaking of business, our shop is going to be closed tomorrow because it is hotter than heck out here in the Northwest. We're heading into 108, which maybe in some other parts of the world that's not a big deal, but we are sweating up here. So we're gonna take the day off so no one gets a heat stroke, and then be back at it Tuesday. So anyhow, hope you guys all have a great and productive week. And one more big shout out to my newest subscriber, John Doe. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. And yeah, would love to hear from you, hear what you're interested in, and see if we can't create a conversation and go from there. So anyways, have a great week, y'all. Take it easy.